Hi there, folks. This is Dama Gate 2, and here we are back for episode 64 of my From the Depths Let's Play of 2.4.9. Just getting back to the map here, seeing what's going on. I'm probably still trying to get things ready in the recording, it looks like here. There we go. I was able to make some modifications to the Warrior's Call. Basically, just redid some things in the AI settings so that way they wouldn't fly off into the sunset and then be deleted because well they flew the coop basically. So I did come across that issue at least once during the next two recordings, but I think for the most part the issue has been resolved. So there's that. Alright, here we go, the first battle here. A lot of these airships seem kind of flimsy though. It just seems like they take one spam of like EMP missiles and they just go down in the water. Then after that, a couple of torpedoes in them and they're at 80% in sinking. So, but that seems to be par for the course when it comes to doing these Great Talons fights, is that you need torpedo launchers, because I remember that one that I had to do a post commentary of. It sank to the bottom of the ocean, and I had to get in there with Rambot and blow it apart from the inside because I had no torpedoes otherwise. Here's the All Guns Blazing Dreadnought being shown some love here. That thing has just been so freaking tanky. Every now and then it gets a good cram off and kills something, so I like to keep it around. It also makes a pretty good distraction. I mean, it's got so much DAC on it, and a lot of the AI cards, they're set up to go for whatever the most DACA heavy crap there is out there. And this thing's built to take punishment, so why the hell not? Alright, that's that battle out of the way. Got the All Guns Blazing repairing now. Think for that next fleet that's coming in here. Yeah, there's that bug again where a ship refuses to move for some crazy reason. Anyway. I don't think the regular tricks fix it this time around, though, so. We're going to be doing some submarine and missile cruiser action here in this next battle, looks like. So yeah, just kind of one warrior after, I mean not warrior, but I keep getting those names confused, but that thing's called a warlord. But all the same, it gets blown to shit. I don't know what's wrong with them. They just seem to fall out of the air a bit too easily. But in the end, it all dies, so. As Duke Nukem once said, if it bleeds, I can kill it. In this case, we're just bleeding block confetti here, I guess. These things just take forever to despawn. I was using F11 to try to get that thing to despawn a little faster so we can get the next unit in. And there's our next warlord. It's going to just take some brief daca to the face and then fall out of the sky just like all the rest. I think it just gets a couple of hash rounds into it and just annihilates the insides to where it can't fly anymore. I think in that front section there's a lot of boilers though, so I don't know, maybe that's what's going on with that. And that one just vented all of its shells just right after being spawned in. I swear, missile spam is king in this game. That one spawned in so low, it's probably going into the water here. Yep. And this is a godly design. Seriously. I don't know if these designs are just broken because of recent updates or whatnot, but I am not impressed. And it looks like we got another fleet trying to creep up on us. There's me trying to work out that bug where the speed of the ship resets itself. I'm wondering if, though, I would be better off with some kind of fuel-carrying hovercraft than using the midways. I mean, yeah, the midways are expensive, but they're just cool. I'm sorry, they are. Even though you guys hardly ever get to see them, I like having them around. I mean, having a mobile field base like that is fairly useful. But I'm thinking if I can make like a hovercraft that like stays like pretty close to water level, yeah, put put a refinery on it if I can, and maybe have some room for fuel storage and a shitload of repair tentacles, maybe some material storage. I actually have something like that already. I could probably repurpose it for this. I've had that thing around for a long time. It does about almost 100 meters a second. Yeah. Stupid fast. The reason why I had to pull the battle hymn back out is because I'm still having issues trying to come up with a good point defense system for it. I tried putting a bunch of autocannons on the top part of it, but I think I need to redo some of the, or build a separate AI just for attacking small air targets like that. Which wouldn't necessarily be hard to do. I'll have to look at its settings again. Those autocannons seem like they kind of struggle trying to hit those nukes, though. Something to think about. The Shiriyamas, they don't seem like they have too much trouble trying to hit those. But they are meant more for an anti-air role than the battle hymn is. Battle hymn just meant to be more of a kind of a medium to heavyweight slugger. But it doesn't really have the capability to fight off those damn nukes. I'm wondering if I might be better off, though, instead of using autocannons, just go to simple lasers. I can't stand the ear rape from those things. They're just so freaking noisy. Then again, you guys aren't probably going to hear it because in post-commentary, you basically axe all this sound, so oh well. You probably don't want to hear my wife watching TV anyway. And here I was just trying some different ideas to try to get the Dreadnought moving again. Because it keeps... It keeps bugging out on me and driving me crazy. But this combination of 2 submarines and 2 missile cruisers seems to be going pretty well. And now that the Warriors' calls are working as intended, that just makes them even handier. For the most part, they move way too fast to be a real target for a lot of factions, actually. I mean, this thing's screaming around at the minimum of 130 meters a second. That's going to outrun a whole hell of a lot of missiles. Though I am kind of curious if it'd be possible to make kind of a thrust vectored aircraft now. Something kind of like the Hake, maybe? Normally I shy away from cheesy tactics like putting thrusters on spin blocks, but or using graviton rams and things like that. Normally I'll stay away from doing stuff like that, but there are times when I will make an exception to the rule, and that is if an enemy faction is using it in campaign, then it's fair game, which I think is completely fair. That's pretty much the extent of my quote-unquote honor rules. Other than that, I don't necessarily believe in honor rules because it's a goddamn video game, for crying out loud. And this thing that Lathrix keeps doing over and over again is like, remember, we're the good guys. I'm like, good, bad? I'm the guy with the gun. Yes, I just quoted Army of Darkness. Great movie. Watch it if you ever get a chance. So I went and got rid of all um, the fighter planes and went for the high altitude interceptors. I think only one of them ever gets shot down. And that was probably a fluke more than anything, because those things, they haul ass, and they do it at an altitude so insane that it's kind of hard to get them. During this recording session, that fleet to the south is going to see a little bit low, but I think they're going to need another missile cruiser to go along with them. And we're just trying to kite these forces around a little bit so we can get some more forces to attack them. We're going to try to move that battle hymn all the way to the bottom. It's just going to serve as an anchor to take on whatever the smaller vehicles can't. And then I realized that I accidentally spawned stuff in at the wrong altitude, so let's give that another go. Warriors Call, they don't care because they got balloons, but I don't think the Screaming Eagles do. I mean, do you really plan to use balloons for something that you don't expect to get hit? No. At least that was my logic at the time. I mean, they move at like 150 meters a second outside of the atmosphere. And the only thing you're going to hit that with is some insanely badass missiles, a PAC, or quite possibly a laser. Yeah, there's some of the interceptors going about their business right now. They're just going to kind of hang up there and drop missiles. And there goes the missile spam onto, I think that was a Thunderclap, not sure. Here's some of the Warriors Call aircraft. They're just going to buzz around and HE spam everything to death like they were originally intended to do. I do want to see if I can fit some kind of anti-air weapon inside those. I think they could be especially dangerous in some kind of a heavy interceptor role. Now those little Cerberus things, they're driving me insane because they launch huge missiles and they like to put big holes in my boats. I don't like big holes in my boats. Steel rain time. And look at this thing. It is capsized. There's the Holy Divers. A song by the great Ronnie James Dio. Stop me if I'm wrong, but I do believe he was the frontman for Black Sabbath there for a little while. After Ozzy, of course. It's kind of crazy because after this recording session is done, like there's almost 2 million materials in In the old war chest. The way this keeps going, maybe I ought to just spawn in a... What's it called? The Swedish pagan. I imagine there's a few of you guys that might be eager to see that thing in action. It's still kind of unfinished. It doesn't have the shields in place, and I kind of want to get the lamb system and start over with it. Though the laser cannon on it's pretty badass. That's hilarious. One of those turrets like took a direct hit from a missile and like lost all of its barrels. And then I noticed that there was like this little engine that was like on the front of the thunderclap. I had never recognized that before. It looked like it was an engine compartment that lifts up like the hood of a car. Never noticed that before till now. These thunderclap can actually be kind of scary because of the huge cram barrage, but cram is pretty much shit against aircraft, so... A Weldner would probably beg to differ with that, but he tends to use timed high explosive cram, and every once and again it can do some decent things, I'm not going to lie. But I told him once if he ever managed to knock out a singularity... Oh, this is that one instance I was telling you guys about, where the plane decided that it was just going to wander out of bounds. I think I just end up despawning it. But anyway, I told a Weldner once if he ever managed to take out a singularity, with cram cannons, I would eat my own underwear on YouTube. Which sadly he could probably get away with that right now because last I checked, the singularity is kind of shit right now. It just kind of plops down in the water. I don't even think its warp drive is working correctly right now. I really feel for the keepers of the lore, though. With the way the game's been going here, all the updates, constantly breaking campaign designs, I would not envy them right now. I'm probably burning through tons and tons of resources, spamming all these missiles right now, but I mean, I'm at like 1.7 million materials right now. And there's some people out there that say that you... Well, I think in current they're talking about removing centralized materials, and I know that's not going to make any difference because I have done campaigns without centralized materials, and believe me, it wasn't really all that much the same. Because, like I said, I was talking about earlier, you can build a hovercraft that goes easily 100 meters a second and have it carry all the material and fuel and everything that you would ever need. Granted, you might pay a pretty good chunk of materials to get one up and running, but after you do, you don't ever have to worry about materials being in the right place at the right time ever again, because it'll just zip back and forth across the map with no fucks given. I mean, getting material in this game is not hard to do. Though the way some people budget for stuff in this, it's I mean, I'm at a point where I could easily build like 2 or 3 super battleships and probably win this campaign with those ships alone right now. Of course, I'm probably not going to do that. I mean, I might do like 1 or 2 battles like that just so you guys can see what it's like. This battle was actually kind of fun. I just kind of rode around on one of the warriors' call and watched everything get the bejesus bombed out of it. Had to pull one of them because it ended up in the water somehow. Maybe just flat out ran out of fuel, I don't know. I mean, these things burn fuel at a pretty insane rate, but fuel's not that hard to come by either. You know, it'll just zip on over to the one of the midways, get refueled, and be back at it. I think I got one more battle here in this video. And that stupid dreadnought is still stuck there. So I had to bring in a bunch of bombers. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the Screaming Eel Interceptors, they're named for a Sabaton song that was about the 101st Airborne Division. The Battle of the Bulge, the commander of the 101st Airborne Division, when the Germans asked for their surrender, the 101st Airborne commander said, "Nuts," which, you know, given that it's 1944-ish, I think this happened around Christmas time. Basically, was kind of a more polite way of saying "go fuck yourself." So yeah, stop me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, that's basically what I translated it down to, from like old people speak. And ugh, these nukes. And almost makes me miss the martyrs. Because the Great Talons, they just spam those damn nukes all the fucking time. And it's crazy, like in a battle like this, because you'll have like 10 or 20 of them like hovering in midair, like right underneath where a hammer high would be. Can't do jack shit to it. Because, of course, good luck with them trying to leave the atmosphere with like Deddy blades and a jet thruster on the back end of it. And sooner or later it gets hit by an APS or missile at some point. And no big deal. But yeah, it seems like a combination of submarines and fast-flying units are the way to go here. And it kind of just dragged on here because the Dreadnought was the only thing that had torpedoes at the time, and it doesn't really launch them in a very fast way. So it took a little while for it to take out this warlord here. But I think we're getting close to wrapping this up. Because I think this video, yeah, it's got about maybe 25 seconds on it. So, yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. This has been Dama82. Y'all have yourselves a hell of a day, and keep your hammer high. Later.